Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jennifer Long. I am the Machine Embroidery Department Manager for Riley Blake Designs, and I am so excited to be here today to share with you the navigation of the USB and look through the patterns on the USB. So the first thing you're going to want to do is when you find your USB case that you are going to get from Riley Blake Designs, all you need to do is flip it over. And on the back of every USB case, there is a QR code. If you take a picture with your phone of the QR code, you are going to be brought over to a website, and on that website is your shopping list. So let me take you over to my computer and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is what the website looks like, but when you click on that USB, you're going to actually be taken directly to the shopping list for that USB. Today we are doing the Red Riding Hood and Friends Dolls collection requirements. You will notice two different requirements for each of these projects. I chose this one to share with you today because it has multiple projects inside this USB. If you're choosing a USB like a quilt, it might just have one project and one fabric requirements, but for multiple sizes. So we'll show you both ways on here. So this Red Riding Hood and Friends Dolls collection requirements, you can see there's a title page for it here, and it'll be the collection requirements first. I'm going to scroll through a little faster to show you the next title page if you want to see this in basics. So all of our USBs that are already on the market, so that are in production, will have both the fabric requirements and all the shopping lists for the full collection as well as the basics options. So let's start at the top. So each of these four dolls will have their own requirements. On the first page, you see this is Grandma Doll's collection, and she has these SKUs that are on the side. The SKUs are listed here in this collection, and then for each of the project sizes, so depending on the stitchable area that you have, 5x7, 6x10, or 8x12, you'll see the requirements that you need. If you are swapping out any of these SKUs or fabrics, it's going to be easy to do on these patterns because these patterns have a letter, or these SKUs have a letter label on them. So A will be for this fabric. So if you swap out this fabric for any other fabric, you'll just swap it out wherever it says A. Then you'll go down a little bit further here and you'll see the threads that you need. Now, if you are matching directly to these fabric SKUs, then you'll want to make sure that you match to the threads as well. And then further along and down the side, you'll see notions and supplies. This is where you can find all of the stabilizers that you need. So the stabilizers are here. We have our stabilizer guide, which we have explained in previous videos, but I also just want to show you here that this PDF is clickable. So anything that's highlighted here, you can see where I have my little pointer on my mouse. If you click it, then it will open up the link onto another web page, and that will be the explanation of those stabilizers. So it's very interactive, and you'll be able to find out all the things you need from those requirements. As you continue on, you'll see that each collection has a different color heading. And so each project, this one is a green project for Grandma, the one below for the wolf has a brown heading, and we kind of go through each project. So it's kind of easy if there are multiple pages that you'll be able to see all the different requirements. And then when you go on to the basics, it's the same thing, but in our Riley Blake Designs basics, so you'll have a great option to swap out fabrics as you need to. So once you have all the shopping lists and all your supplies that you need, and you have your USB in hand, when you open it up, you're going to see what's inside. So let me just show you on this one. Here we go. You can see you have your USB, and you have just another QR code to learn about the designer. And don't forget, all of that shopping list information is still on the back. When you take that USB out, it is labeled with the collection name as well as with Riley Blake Designs name on the back. So if you aren't keeping it in your case, if you have, let's say, a USB case that you want to have where all of them are collected, then you'll know exactly which one it's going with. I'm going to take this USB over to my laptop and insert it in, and I'm going to go through each of the processes, and we're going to walk through what is on the screen. All right, so once it's on, you should have a screen that pops up and shows you that the USB drive is on there. When you double click on that, you will see which USB you have. So this is correct. I have Red Riding Hood and Friends Dolls. When I double click on there, I have these 4 folders, and this is what I wanted to show you on a multi-project USB. So there'll be multiple folders for each project. If you're having a project that just has one, like for example a quilt, then it will only have one folder, but within it they will all look the same. So this screen might look a little bit different depending on how many projects you have on your USB, but inside each USB folder will look like this. So let's click on the first one and see what's inside. This is Grandmother Doll, and in here you're going to see all the different folder of the file types that you need. So these are the different extensions for all the different machines. If you are unaware of which file type your machine takes, it's really a good idea to go ask your local quilt shops that you purchase your machine from, or just read the owner's manual to find out. But I wanted to point out that we'll go through these in a minute, but the most important thing I want you to find first is the PDF instructions. I'm going to move this bar over so you can see that it is the Grandma Doll PDF instructions, and we'll double click on that and to show us here. So here we go, we're going to have the cover so we know we're on the right project, and we're going to walk through. The next page of this instructions tells you to choose your project size. This is a really important part of the process, and we've discussed this in a Q&A previously, but I want to mention it here again. You want to make sure that the hoop size or the stitchable area size that you have for your machine will fit what you're choosing. So make sure that the stitchable area size that you choose, whether it be 5 by 7, 6 by 10, 8 by 12, or other sizes, depending on the project, fits the stitchable area that you have. Once you've chosen the size, I'm going to choose 5 by 7. I'm going to come down here, it's going to make a 14-inch doll, and I will go over to the next page. And this is very close to what you have just seen on the back of your USB case when you checked for your shopping list. So this is the collection requirements for 14-inch dolls. So if you haven't shopped for your fabric requirements yet, this is where you'll do it. So I'm going to look at for the 14-inch doll, the 5 by 7 hoop or stitchable area, and I'm going to gather up all the supplies that I need. On this next page is the fabric requirements. So again, following the column down, you can see 14-inch doll, 5 by 7 stitchable area, and I'm going to walk through and cut everything that I need. A couple of helpful tips when you are cutting for your embroidery machine. This project has multiple hoops that will go for this Grandma Doll. So you're going to want to be aware, maybe using a design board for each of your hoops in order to cut your fabrics. So for example, fabric A here, it'll say cut 1, 4.5 width of fabric strips, and then you cut this amount for your skirt. On my 14-inch size, it says for skirt body. So when we are going for skirt body hoop, I'm going to cut it and put it there. You can just keep yourself organized in this way. Another important page that I really want you to take note of if you are new to Riley Blake Machine Embroidery is this general machine embroidery instructions. So on here you can see all the links, which are all clickable. You're welcome to just check them out and peruse often questions that we ask here, any kind of updates that might happen to this embroidery project. But most importantly, here's the icons and the abbreviations. Our patterns are simplified with icons that we have created at Riley Blake Designs, and so each of these will have a bigger description of what they are. So I'd love you to go take a look and just make sure you get familiar with this. You'll also see those icons on every page coming forward, and we'll get to that in a minute. As you can see here on the next page, the machine embroidery techniques, we have all these different techniques, and it gives a great description of how to do them if you've never done a placement stitch or a basting stitch, for example. So make sure that you use this page as a reference. Now here we go. It's going to say start here. It couldn't be easier than that. So you're going to prepare anything that needs to happen before you start in your embroidery machine should happen here. So it might not be for the first hoop, but it'll be for this project. So for example, we need to use our sewing machine and we need to prepare the back of the arm unit. So we're going to do that together. Following these instructions, and then the body back unit again. And you'll have the fabric letter labels here to tell you which fabrics to use where. Then you'll start right away on your hoop. Here we're going to do, remember we chose our 14-inch doll on the 5 by 7 stitchable area. So I'm going to take my 5 by 7 hoop and I'm using my one layer of this light tearaway stabilizer. Once you hoop that, you just simply follow through with all of these steps. Each step is numbered on your pattern that correlates with the step on your machine. So you can see step 1 on your pattern will be the same as step 1 on your machine, and you'll have your thread changes highlighted with the thread colors numbers on them as well. If I go to the next page, you're going to see a little further along, I'll find one to show you here, that not every step has a step number. So on the body, for example, we have step 1 and 2, and then there's something called a trim step. This is like an action step. And if you don't remember what a trim step is or what you need to do, this is where you go back and reference those icons on those initial pages that we just talked about, so that you can know what to do for that trim step. And then you follow right along through the whole pattern, and then usually at the end we have anything that's finishing. We call them setting instructions. So anything that's finishing at the end of how to do your grandma doll. And then there's often some great inspirational pictures at the end as well. Now let's take our USB and insert it into our machine, and we'll wait for the folders to load. Now every machine is different, so I'm going to take this USB and bring it back to my laptop just so I can show you all the folders. But you'll see something appear on your screen and you'll follow along with the folders that you have. So here we go. We're going to put it back into the laptop and I'll walk you through the folders that you will see. So on your USB, you again will see the folder types that you have. So if you have all of the different projects on your USB, you'll see multiple folders. If you just have the one project on your USB, you'll only see one folder here. Once you click on it, you will have all of these different extension files. So you'll need to decide which file type your machine reads and click on that one. I'm going to come over here and read the VP3. And here you can see that it is all the grandmother doll, so that is great. But you can see there's different sizes at the beginning. So there's a 5x7, and then it changes to 6x10, and then it changes again to 8x12. The reason why these aren't in additional subfolders is that some machines have a hard time reading multiple layers of folders, so we've kept it and organized it in this way for you. You're going to want to click on, let's say I'm doing that 5x7 grandmother's doll, so I'm going to click on the first hoop of that, and I'm going to load it up onto my machine. And when you load it up on your machine, it will bring up the file for you. Now, when you have this file here, remember we talked a little bit on the Q&A with Cindy that all machines read different colors differently, different thread colors differently. So it is important that you are still following along with your PDF, but you're just going to follow along with the steps on the instructions and have tons of fun stitching out your projects. It's as simple as that. If you have any more questions or you want to be inspired by new and upcoming machine embroidery projects, head over to the Riley Lake Designs website. Stay tuned for more tutorials for machine embroidery.